Today we're going to talk about a Viking ship called Drakkar. It's also called the dragon ship, and as you can see here, it's named that for the figurehead. But the Vikings basically used this ship to dominate sea power in Europe from around 800 AD to 1100 AD, a period called the Viking Age. And the Drakkar was one of the main reasons why they were able to dominate. They used this to transport soldiers to pillage Europe. They used it to actually fight battles on the sea. And because it was long and narrow with a shallow hull, it allowed for great navigation in waters as shallow as 1 meter deep. And it was typically made of oak, but the hull was as narrow as 1 inch thick. The lightweight ship allowed the ship to be carried on land and used as a shelter on land. It's also double-ended. You can see that basically to reverse, you don't have to turn around. It can go either way, which gives it, again, a lot of flexibility. It's alongside each side are the oars, and there can be different sizes, and there's benches to row the oars. They can be 1 to 3 people on a bench to row, and depending on the size of the ship and the number of rowers, it can go from 5 to 10 knots on an average speed, but the really fast ones could get all the way up to 15 knots. The most famous Drekar was owned by a Norwegian king, Olaf Tryggvason, and his Drekar was called the Long Serpent. It was 45 meters long with 34 oars and 68 oarmen. So it was a lot of people on the boat. It sunk in a battle. It was basically a coup uprising in Norway, and the ship, the Long Serpent, was the last ship remaining in the fleet. And the last sighting of Olaf was him jumping off the ship in his full armor. And he was presumed to be dead, but for the next 40 years, there were sightings of him all over Europe, all the way from to Asia. Another famous Drakkar belonged to William the Conqueror. Of course, he was the first Norman king of England, and he used it to conquer all of his fights within England. Of course, there's a lot of places to learn more about Viking ships. On the web, Legends and Chronicles. If you type in Viking ships, Hearst Wick has a lot of information. Micromark sells museum quality Drakkar Viking ships, and have been for several years, along with the modeling tools and supplies. So let's look at what you get when you bring in the ship. So you could see this is a very quality size ship. It's the scale is 1/50th. You can see the shields and the figurehead, the dragon figurehead, and it's very well organized. Laser cut wood, and a very easy to follow plan here. So the Drakkar has a lot of history, and it's really, really fun to put this model together. And if you go to micromark.com, you can find the Drakkar Viking ship along with all the tools and supplies necessary for your modeling.